This to me has to be the definition of a pawpaw truck. 1972 Ford F100 long bed 6-cylinder automatic that recently was pulled out of a Georgia barn where it had been parked since 1995. We're extremely excited to get the opportunity in today's video to bring this thing back to life. We're gonna attempt to get that 240 running again, and if we can, we'll service this thing, we'll build the brakes, we'll get some tires on it, and try to get it back on the road for the first time in at least 30 years. It is wild to me just how solid this old truck actually is. We got this from a local friend of ours. He's an international guy. We had picked up an international that had some slight issues, and we got this Ford from him because he knows we like these Fords. That greasy old thing, I know, is definitely ready to be fired back up. A little bit of rust right here, but otherwise not too bad. And this thing's really, for what it is, you can tell it's been kind of tucked away. Probably had some stuff sitting on the front and maybe some mice nested on top of it, and that's where your rust came from there. Underneath of this thing is really not bad at all. Someone put 128,000 miles into that old seat right there. Really a pretty nice interior. Nice for our standards. Original radio, original floor mat, super solid floorboards. Man, this thing's gonna be so much fun to bring back. I know a lot of people fuss when we say we like patina, but this thing's perfect. The bed is rotted out. I believe this thing sat for a long time with hay in it. If you can't tell with the hay rack back here, and it rotted out the back. The framing's not bad. Everything else is pretty good. So I think a little bit of repair work back there, and this will be a perfect cruising old rig. First thing, we're gonna go ahead and get this out of here. It's cool. I don't know what else we do with it. So yeah, let's just pull it out. So much better. All 8 foot of glory. Now that that's off, we've got to free up at least a brake. This one was so stuck that it's actually ripped the tire apart, and somebody had hooked to that front I-beam, that front twin I-beam, and bent that. I think we can heat it up and pull it back into place, no big deal. But we've got to get it moving so we can get it over to the shop and try to fire it up. Wow, those have been on there a long time. It's brand new under the hubcap. I don't know if that tire's gonna do us any good. If you're a bump side guy, you know these corners rot out. Look just how nice that is. And on this side too, just perfect. I know this adjuster's frozen, but it's worth a try. Wow, plug is an OEM with a Fomico part number on it still. How cool is that? Yep, no, that adjuster's frozen. Only one way at this point to get this brake free without just destroying that drum. Rears are a little easier to come by. Fronts are accessible, but we don't want to have to spend the money if these are nice shape. Yeah, there wasn't ever gonna be any breaking that loose. Sheesh. The drum's really nice shape. It's actually not bad. Look at it, raw. Still looking where the pads were. Holy moly. Wonder if we need wheel cylinders. That thing has turned to dust. Let's see if we can breathe some life back into this old rig. Oil is dark, to be expected, but no signs of major moisture, which is nice to see. First thing, digging into something that has been sitting this long, I always like to do is pull all of our spark plugs out. Not only do we get an idea of the condition of our combustion chambers, but we can soak this thing down with some penetrating oil or some marble mixture oil. We'll let that soak just in case we happen to have any moisture, condensation on our rings or in those cylinders. We don't just go cranking over on this thing and tearing anything up. Cylinder number 1, crusty old Autolite, beautiful combustion chamber side. Number 2, another awesome looking old plug. Number 3, beautiful. We have a crusty old spark plug here, but the important stuff looks nice. 4 is awesome. 5, again, super nice. Last but not least, oh, that one's a little tight. Probably from water running down behind the hood. Number 6, wow, don't get much better than that. And I love the fact that this thing is an old tractor motor. Oil absolutely everywhere. Hopefully it has saved most of what's on this engine. I do think we want to degrease and clean this thing up and see how that original blue paint does underneath there. As nice as everything looks, I'm just going to soak it down with some PB Blaster. We'll load these cylinders up really good and we'll let it soak for a while. Moment of truth. Let's throw this 15/16 socket on the crank snout and see if this old 240 turns over. Oh, no problem. Oh geez, why is there a wasp in there and is he dead? Oh, he's not dead.
Hey, Dad.
Squish. Make sure we get a nice, good, smooth, full revolution. We don't have any major rings, rust rings, or valves hanging or anything. This thing is just smooth as can be though. And a lot of that carburetor's been covered, and this is an old oily engine. I like to get under here and get this oil drained out before we even start trying to crank over that starter. Not only will we see if we have any kind of sludge or anything that'll keep our oil pump from pumping, but as many years as this thing has been sitting, any kind of crud, moisture, or sludge will have sink down to the bottom of this oil pan. It's just cheap insurance. I'd rather change it if we can get it running. If we feel it needs to be changed again, we can change it again, but there's no point in pumping all that mess through this engine. Can't beat that. No sludge, major clumps or anything. While that's draining, we can take a look at this little C4 and wow, look at just how clean that little transmission is. This thing is a true, honest, low mileage truck. Even as nice as this oil filter is, I think we should probably replace it. Okay, nice and clean at the housing. And another thing, those old oil filters, as rusty as the outside of the housing is, the filter cartridge on the inside is glued on it. And I'd really hate for us to start building oil pressure and suck that thing flat and cut off our oil pressure. Something so simple could be so catastrophic. I don't see anything wrong with those original cables. Let's throw a battery in this thing and see what it does. We might have some wiring issues in the truck. Oh no. I'm gonna disconnect the truck itself from that until we address that wiring. We're just gonna be working off of the solenoid here because we don't want to burn this thing down. Everything under the dash looks nice, all down here and everything. So it's just right there at that pass through. We know nothing's gonna work anyways, and we don't want it arcing out and lighting something on fire in that interior. All right, that'll isolate. No explosions. Oh, beautiful. Before we turn this thing over too much, I am gonna cut this fuel line just in case some of that rotten gas starts trying to pump. If that carburetor is somewhat okay, we want to try to fire it up on it, because as long as this thing's been sitting, the fuel was quite a bit better even back in the 90s than it is now, and it might be okay. Let's see if we can get this thing firing to begin with. This thing definitely stayed pretty dry on the inside. Cap's got some buildup I want to get in here and clean up, but I definitely feel that's usable. And something I like to do, instead of fooling with trying to clean these points in here, is just pull them out. And you can see all the pretty nice looking, good bit of crust in there. I like to take a brass wire brush and get in there and just clean every bit of it we possibly can. Just to ensure we make good contact. Now we'll verify making a connection, breaking it, making it, oh, breaking it, making it. Beautiful. With our points set around 25 thousandths, we're gonna go ahead and spin this over, see if we get any popping down here at the points and condenser. That'll tell us we've got something happening. Wow! You don't even have to see it to know it's popping. That thing is firing like crazy. Got some OE, Autolite 45s. We're just gonna make sure they are gapped to 35 thousandths. Engine sounds pretty good under compression. Starter not so much. We are turning over. The engine sounds pretty good. We've got fresh oil in it and we are firing now. The last thing before we can attempt to pop it off is fuel. Attempt to push fuel through the original fuel pump just to see if it's still working. We'll probably replace it just for reliability and stuff. So those old diaphragms get so unhappy and we don't want this thing filling up with gas. And then we'll try this carburetor to begin with. I'm gonna check, make sure all the butterflies are free. We'll try to put some gas to it. Little bit of mouse nest. Not bad. Weird how they got up on the inside. Of course, it's got some mud dauber accessories, like everything seems to around here. Looks pretty clean down in there. Choke is free. Throttle plates are actually free. Nice. One thing I'm noticing, how clean the fuel system looks, at least internally. And the gas tank on this one. Ooh. I lied. That smells really bad. Okay. I was thinking maybe it was running out of gas. Maybe it was. You never know. There might be a clog or something, which would be good if all of that run out of gas. But hopefully our lines are clear, and hopefully we're going to try to clean the tank on this one. Using our boat tank, run to the fuel pump. I did disconnect this to begin with, just so any trash in the line will clear out into our nice clean jar before going into the carburetor. All right, that fuel pump is a no-go. It was worth a shot though. We had this one on the shelf because of course we keep absolutely everything. And that is what we need. Beautiful. See if we have an accelerator. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think you all know what time it is. Gotta be my favorite part of a rescue. Let's see if this thing will run. Yes, sir. Come on, baby. It wants it. Give me myself. Yeah. At least my face wasn't over it, but I ain't got no hair left on my finger. All right, let me stick a screwdriver and hold that choke so my finger doesn't have to take the fireball. Dad's grabbing a little bit stouter battery we've got up on the hill, and in the meantime, this thing is not showing it has any coolant in it, and I think I know why. Yeah, the heater core is smoked on this thing, so we'll loop it for now so we can throw some coolant in it. This is a good roadside fix if you ever blow a heater core. And every vehicle I own has a looped heater core. We get about 2 weeks out of the year now where we really need heat. No, I just gotta go through and do some heater cores. Oh, golly. Okay, that carburetor gave up. We have the one off of the CJ5, the one we replaced that was a good carburetor because we built it, but we know that it ended up being a fuel pressure issue. That's why we replaced it, but it turned out to be a fuel pressure issue. So that carburetor should be good. Let's yank this one off of here and get it on and see if it does any better, because this one's definitely going to need a rebuild.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's got too much fuel pressure too. Let's give this another try. Come on, baby. Nope, doing the same thing. Too much fuel pressure. What is up with new fuel pumps? Oh my goodness. That is an insane amount of fuel pressure. Why is it doing? What is up with stuff anymore? Let's check our firing order really quick. Number 1 appears to be right where it's supposed to go. 5 looks correct. 3, yep. 6, yep. 2, yep. 4, yep. And 1, that is it. Firing order is right. Well, just look here.
Yeah, we'll see where it's going.
It's not that gassy. We just need to see baseline here. So we're looking for TDC on our compression stroke on our number 1 cylinder. So we're looking to see those valves closed. Wow, that's a pretty good looking cylinder wall. Our valves are closed. All right, right there. We've got our mark there on 0. Line up there. We're on the compression stroke. I think our next step is to check compression really quick, make sure we're okay there. And then honestly, at the end of the day, it might just be that starter not turning this thing over good enough.
Oh, that's nice. Consistent.
It's consistent though. That's what we want to see. Okay, so we've got a couple weak ones. I didn't see anything bad, so it's probably just maybe the valve's not wanting to seat real well. It's another soft one. There's not a dead hole or anything. Go ahead, please. Okay, there is why it is not firing up. What you think? Put some Lucas in it. Cross hatching on the cylinder wall still. A little bit of buildup and some crust there that's just holding our valves open a bit. I'm gonna say that's probably gonna be our problem. What I think is probably going on, see that carbon buildup? It starts, when it's sat this long and then we soak it down, you get gas and stuff on it, it starts breaking up and it holds those valves open a little bit. I'm sure that's all it is. if it will pop off, it'll go. It looks like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Good golly. It's just carbon buildup, low mileage, probably fired up to run to town or move some hay around. And that's what's holding our valves. Let's put a little bit of Lucas in it and see if that'll pick our compression up enough. If it'll fire up, it'll clear out in a heartbeat. I do like that we took the opportunity to look down in those bores and everything looks so incredibly nice in there.
Sending me from a shot.
It just needed a little bit of compression to run. High five, y'all. That is so smooth. It's gonna idle. Dude! That is one of the happiest sounding old inline sixes I've ever heard. It is idling. So smooth. Oil pressure gauge is dead. This is an electric one though, isn't it? Yes. There's no way that doesn't have oil pressure. One of the cleanest, I say cleanest, nicest exhaust I've seen. The muffler's not even leaking. What's crazy is how nice everything is other than that. That means that can be fixed. And this will just be a perfect old pawpaw truck. Burning off some funk, isn't it? Woo-wee! Oh, God. Well, that carburetor's happy with an electric fuel pump. I thought something was falling. Not one of the mechanical. I don't know why they get the pressures wrong. Whew, it's warm. That thermostat might be stuck. Okay, we got to get a thermostat in it. That's awesome. Tried one more specific to this engine fuel pump and just no go. For some reason, those Carter YFA style carburetors cannot handle the 5, 6, 7 PSI that these pump out. They do great with electric fuel pumps, which are 2.5 to 3 PSI. We want it to be enjoyable and reliable and not be flooding out everywhere. Got a OE 192. Definitely would be interested in seeing, maybe throw this in some boiling water and see if it opens up at 192 or not. That water pump still feels fabulous. Ah yes, a mechanic's delicacy. Thermostat. Whew, it's smelling good. We're at about 195 and it is not opened up. Yep, that definitely would have ran a little warm. It was better to be safe than sorry. I think we'll place this fuel pump up here, and then clearly this fender liner will eventually need to be replaced altogether. So if this needs to be changed up, not a big deal, popping a couple holes in here. Mechanical fuel pump is definitely my preference, but for some reason, these 1 barrels, even with a fresh needle seat and float, just will not hold the extra PSI these new pumps pump out. Quite honestly, it'll probably have better hot starts anyway. It would be quite swell to try and use the original ignition switch and get everything in the truck working. I'm gonna attempt to get the harness unplugged here, pull it back through the firewall, let's repair it, slide it back in, and hopefully everything's going to be working for us. Simple enough as far as location goes. Find out if we have power anywhere now. Saw some gauges flicker. Crank it over. See if we got voltage to the coil. So that's key on. And crank it over. Let's make sure we hold it. All right, that looks right. See if it'll just pop off real quick, Dad, on key. Do you have any gauges?
I got oil pressure.
Charging, it's charging, isn't it? I wonder if we have any lights now. Interior light. Yep, 1 tail light. Marker light. Headlights. It is cool seeing things start waking back up and come to life. I don't even have to cut the fuel hose. The line, on the other hand, beautiful, beautiful shape. We've still got to clean the gas tank. It is not happy, or replace it. We can make sure, we'll make sure our line is clear. Oh, it's clear. Hit it again. Let me try not to get covered in that anymore. Holy moly. Check our transmission fluid. Let's check our no transmission fluid. We better get some Type F to put in here. I wonder, that transmission is so clean. Does transmission fluid just evaporate? Not uncommon to have clean, I say clean, it's not really clean. In the realm of stuff like this, it's clean. Transmissions, and they're empty. We know we're not even touching the dipstick, so it at least needs a quart We'll put a cord in here, we'll fire it up. We need to run it until the thermostat opens anyways. Get us up to temp here. We'll cycle, reverse, neutral, and drive a couple times. Throw it up in park. Once it's close to operating temperature, then we can check our level and add as we need. Good condensation. Condensation tells you that you have a healthy running engine. Smooth as this thing is, there is no doubt it is running healthy. Oil pressure right where it needs to be. We'll watch that temp gauge and see if it does anything. I want to check this charging system real quick. This thing's actually charging, check that out. 13.47 at idle. Nada. Hopefully we're just still really low. I wonder if how clean that transmission is. Maybe it's new, not new, but old. I just don't see any major leaks, and we've already put a gallon in this thing, and it's nowhere near touching the dipstick. Reverse, neutral, drive. Beautiful. Warmed up and running pretty happy. We know we did have that carbon buildup issue, so I'm gonna run some of this power tune. This is what we used in the marine industry to help with these older engines with a good bit of carbon buildup to kind of clean them out. You just got to spray it down the carb throat and keep it running, and it should help this thing clear out really good and run better than ever, which it's already running really good. We know we saw it in there, so let's take care of it. This thing is running so good. The transmission's going into gear. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to drive it. Let's jack this thing up, pull these old wheels and tires off, build some brakes so we can go down the road. Most of our lines look pretty good. We'll soak all of our fittings because we know that's what's going to fight us. Even though it looks good, this still has a C9 Ford part number on it. That's probably the original back brakes on this thing, or it was replaced pretty new. But the main thing we're worried about is that wheel cylinder. It just cooked. Even if you see riveted ones, which normally are fine, this is right here is a glued on shoe. And what'll happen with these things is all of that adhesive goes away. So if they look good, you try to leave them in there. Ask me how I know. These things will come loose, wrap underneath the other side of your shoe and slam your brake stopped. And when you lose going down the road at speed, lock up one brake, it's a little sketchy. You don't always have to go, but you always have to stop. Brakes are, to me, one of the most important things as far as safety goes to take care of. Way easier on the other side. Whew-wee. This one was pretty crusty though. Yep, that is frozen. We'll have to free up our adjuster. We're gonna replace all of these hoses anyways. They have metal liners in them, and clearly this one's completely dry rotted. But even if they don't look dry rotted, when they've been sitting this long, they'll rust up and actually close off on the inside, and you'll get very reduced brake pressure or none at all. Here's your emergency brake. Get some grease on your ride points. Not only is this gonna help prevent wear, but this will keep your brakes from squeaking. Don't forget to clean your threads, grease your adjuster, and verify it works smoothly. We'll adjust our shoes out until, as you go on with your drum, it just barely scuffs. We know we're adjusted pretty close, and when we drive it, we'll back up a little bit, and those adjusters will take care of the rest. Something to keep in mind when you're going back together, you'll notice you have 2 different length shoes, or at least the pad part of the shoe. Always try to remember BB or big back. Brakes are designed to have the larger shoe in the rear here. Love seeing the bearing surfaces looking so nice. Our bearings are in great shape. With just a little bit of driving, this nasty old grease here would just turn to oil, and we want to save these if we can. It takes just a few minutes and a whole lot of mess, and we'll get these bearings repacked. One of y'all mentioned getting a bearing packer, and that's probably a good idea. I feel like we should maybe get one of those. Here are the two lines that need replacing. The rest look to be in phenomenal shape. Just rusted right away. Just rusted out right here at the clip. This little tool right here makes absolutely some of the best flares. It's a double-sided flare. I wish it did more than just 3/16, but that's your most common brake line. Every pair of pliers can be a good hammer if you want it to be. All right, pump it and hold it, please. Oh, beautiful, big gush of air. And again, please. Oh my goodness, you don't get much better than that. And again, please. Awesome, I like it. All right, hit your brake, please. Sweet. I like that. And hit your brake. Nice. Beautiful. I like it. Awesome. How's your pedal feel, Dad? Nice. Yes, some fresh rubber, and of course the little white walls. That's what this truck needs. This thing is running so good now. I do want to add a manual choke because it really does need a choke, and I prefer a manual anyways. Automatics seem to kind of hang on too long, especially with how warm it is here in South Carolina most of the time. And with brand new tires, I think even with just a quick drive, we might really chew up our new tires. So let's try to bend that back. I think we're gonna throw it on the trailer, strap it down, and then try to use the winch to pull that front I-beam back into place. We should be able to get it pretty good.
Yeah, stay angled this way a little bit. Come on.
Not quite a first drive, but it backed on the trailer. What's nice is it doesn't look like it's bent down, it's just bent back. So if we can get it pulled back into place, I think it'll be just fine. Bump, little bump. Stay awake, back, wait. Yeah. All right, hold on. Let me put a little more heat on it. Go ahead. A little bit more.
The truck's dropping.
Yep, it's going right into place. Go ahead. All right. Go ahead. A little bit more. Beautiful. You can see the little lever there that hooks to our choke. What is nice is it had the factory block-off plate and somebody already drilled a hole in it, which more than likely at some point in time was for a choke cable. Oh, it's like it was made for it. Okay. I'm not sure it's going to be long enough. All right, go ahead and try that real quick, please, Dad. And then back. Perfect. I love that there is, I'm hanging out next to the engine. I love an old truck like this. That'll keep our air clean for now. And hopefully the choke will work really good and this thing will fire right up. No problem. This thing's basically ready to drive, but before we do that, we know that transmission was super low. In fact, it took 6 quarts to get it up to where it needs to be. It only holds 8, so I'm glad we checked, topped that off before we tried to do too much. I guess we couldn't because it didn't move anyways, but I'd like to check that rear end just in case. It had the wheels in the rear were gray, the wheels in the front were white. Makes me wonder maybe that whole rear end was changed at one point in time. I just want to verify the fluid's clean and that it is at level, because they'll burn up real quick with nothing in there. Fluid is absolutely clean as can be. And right there, I do want to push a little bit in it because it's not right at the top. And we'll top it off, but there's no reason to have to clean that. It is so nice. Excuse me. Perfect. I think we all know exactly what time it is. You know Dad gets to do the honors driving the pop-off truck. Come on, Grandpa. We're moving. How do those brakes feel?
Nice. Manual brakes.
Okay. We're clearly automatic. Let's find out how that transmission's doing. Second, smooth acceleration. What a nice truck. Third gear, 3, that's all we need. How's the front end feel?
Feels good.
Good. Good. I was a little worried about all that. It looks like it tracks pretty nice. Oh,
Stuff falling out.
my door handle's rolling away. It rides a lot better than the short bed. I guess because of the length. Kickdown works. What a hot rod. Oil pressure's good. Charging system is good. Temp is working its way up. What a fun rescue. I ain't noticed any major smoke or anything coming out the back. Nice. I like it. Not that floaty, is it?
No.
It's got the, I don't know if you noticed, it has dual shocks on the front that apparently I looked up and it was some kind of aftermarket day 2 accessory thing added on, and it rides pretty good. This thing's all right. This thing is too good. You look good driving that, Dad. This is an awesome truck. What do you think?
I like it.
Not a single leak anywhere. Absolutely just as smooth and happy as can be. That can't have all the fun. Oh, it's so smooth. I love manual steering. It'll wear you out in a pickup truck. It moves. It's not a hot rod, but Beautiful, beautiful shifts. Not too stiff. Just a perfect amount of grab. It doesn't slip or anything. Let's see. Needs just a little bit of alignment, but that's not bad. I kind of like the fact it's so quiet and so smooth. We don't have a ton of stuff that is like that anymore. This would just be a perfect driver. Why to get parked? We may never know. It may have just been time for a new pickup truck, and we're glad they stuck it in the barn and it was able to still be like this after so many years. Obviously a little bit of work to do on the bed, but otherwise, what a phenomenal old pickup truck. Now, I don't want to leave without knowing if that compression is up where it should be, especially after some run time. So we're going to pull these. Let's check everything out and see where our compression stands. I'm sure it's really good, as nice as this thing is running. But as low as it was, I'd be interested to see. Burn is perfect. Check those out. Start on one. Go ahead and turn it over, please, Dad. We were bumping right up there to 120. This gauge reads a little low, so we're probably more in the 130 or better range. Just shy of 120. Perfect. Beautiful. Perfect. Last one. You don't get much better than that. What a ton of fun taking this truck that was parked 30 years ago, getting it fired up, brought back to life, building the brakes, getting some tires on it, and getting it driving down the road once again. Had a few little things, obviously, dealing with getting it running, but it runs so smooth and so happy now. And I think it is just the coolest old shop farm truck, and it's perfect just the way it is. You might notice behind me, I tested a couple spots, so you know what's happening in our next video. We're gonna get this thing cleaned up. We're going to wash it, buff it, and wax it, and take care of the surface rust just a little bit, but I think this thing's gonna be so cool. I really hope you all have enjoyed this rescue so far, and if you wanna see more on this truck and our other rescues, be sure to the subscribe button, notification bell to keep up with our future uploads. If you happen a part of the channel, we do appreciate it so incredibly much. We get to bring these old forgotten rides back to life because of each and every one of you. So thank you. Peace out, and catch you all on the flip side.